What if the thing that makes you feel most alive is also the chain that keeps you restless? The thrill of wanting, the chase, the promise just ahead. What if the very engine of your ambition is also the quiet source of your suffering? Imagine a life always leaning forward, one step short of arrival. You reach, you touch, and the moment you do, it slips through your fingers like water. The thirst returns. Arthur Schopenhauer, the German philosopher, often called the philosopher of pessimism, argued exactly this. In his major work, The World as Will and Representation, he wrote, "Beneath everything, our plans, our identities, our stories, there is a blind, ceaseless force." He called it the will. Not your will, not mine, but will as the deep current of existence. An urge to strive, to survive, to reproduce, to continue. We experience it as desire, and desire, Schopenhauer says, is the root of our suffering.
Think about it. Desire is a lack. It defines itself by what it does not have. While you want, you are stretched between you and the thing. That stretch is pain. You finally get it, relief, only for it to vanish into normal. Boredom creeps in. The will throws forward a new desire. Our lives, he says, swing like a pendulum between pain, wanting what is not, and boredom, having what no longer excites.
Pleasure, in this view, is not a lasting state. It's just the subtraction of pain. The thirst disappears. You call it pleasure. But the absence of thirst is not a fountain. It's a reset. You can watch this pendulum throughout your own day. How many times do you refresh a screen, waiting for a tiny hit of newness? A ping appears, a message, a like, a comment, a drop of relief. Then, nothing. So you reach again. Multiply that across love, status, money, novelty, validation, and you have modern life. A nervous system tuned to an infinite game of almost. Schopenhauer pushes the knife deeper with love. Romantic ecstasy, he says, is often the species using you. The will wants the species to go on. It borrows your eyes, your heart, your poetry. It persuades you this one person is destiny. You ache, you dream, you suffer grandly. And then, after the triumph, the will often returns to boredom, indifference, or irritation. You call it falling out of love. He calls it the mask slipping off. This is brutal. But look closely. Not to become cynical, but to become honest. How much pain in love comes from the fantasy that desire will end once you merge? How much peace arrives when you love someone as they are, while admitting the will inside you never fully rests? Schopenhauer does not say stop wanting. He is describing a structure. The question is, what happens when you see it? You stop expecting ultimate satisfaction from one more thing. You stop making your peace depend on the pendulum slowing down. You start asking, How do I live well in a world where wanting never ends? He offers 3 doorways out of the will's grip, even if only for a while. 1. Aesthetic contemplation. 2. Compassion. And 3. Ascetic simplicity. 1. Aesthetic contemplation. When absorbed in beauty, whether music, art, or observing nature, the inner commentary falls silent.
For a brief moment, you're not reaching, you are seeing. 2. Compassion. If the same will animates us all, then to recognize your suffering in others is to widen the self. When you help, your craving dims. You are no longer the center of the story. 3. Ascetic simplicity. Not performance, not grayness, but deliberate reduction of stimulation. Fewer spikes, more ground. Less sugar, more bread. And so you begin to taste ordinary sweetness again. Let's get practical. You don't have to become a monk or a museum curator. You can run small experiments, ways to loosen the will's grip, ways to shrink the pendulum's swing. Less pain, less boredom, more quiet sufficiency in between. Try this. 1 week practice. Day 1. Keep a want journal. Each time you notice a desire, jot it down in 5 words or fewer. Coffee, check messages, new shoes, approval from boss. At night, pick 3. Ask, what suffering did this desire promise to end? Thirst? Uncertainty? Status anxiety? If I don't get it, what remains? If I do get it, what is the aftertaste? You're not judging. You're learning how the will speaks in you.
Day 2. Install a friction fast. Choose 2 recurring cravings. Add a speed bump. Hide an app in a folder. Put snacks on the top shelf. Disable 1 notification. Not abstinence, awareness. Desire that climbs a step becomes visible enough to choose. Day 3. Practice aesthetic absorption. 20 minutes, 1 artwork or 1 piece of music. Headphones, phone on airplane mode. Sit. Let it fill the room. Notice the urge to share, to comment, to look it up. Don't. Just listen. That silence after the last note, that is the shape of a life that doesn't always need more. Day 4. Do a compassion rep. 1 small, concrete act. Carry a bag. Give directions. Answer with real attention. Volunteer an hour. While you help, notice how your wanting dims. The will is still there, but softer, because you are not the center. Day 5. Try dignified boredom. 10 minutes, no input. No phone, no music, no reading. Sit by a window. Let restlessness build, then pass. Name the urges as they emerge. Now an itch to check. Now a fantasy. Now impatience. Watch them dissolve without being obeyed. Boredom, it turns out, is not empty. It's a tunnel leading into calm. Day 6. Simplify 1 area of your life. Food, clothing, your desk. Choose a narrow menu. 2 breakfasts,
2 outfits, 2 setups. Less choice equals less low-grade wanting. Notice the relief of not asking, "What else?" all the time. Day 7, write an enoughness statement. Finish this sentence. Today it was enough to... Fill the blank with what truly brought quiet.
It was enough to share a meal with a friend. It was enough to observe the sky. It was enough to take a walk. Read it aloud. Let your body register the feeling as real.
Alongside these practices, keep 2 ideas close. First, wanting and liking are not the same. The brain chemical dopamine spikes with anticipation, more than with possession. The will loves the chase. So when you finally get the thing and feel a bit disappointed, don't panic. Nothing is wrong with you. The system is doing what it does. Knowing this makes you less likely to chase harder just to fix the letdown. Second, relief is real pleasure, but it is not a home. Yes, ending pain feels good, but don't mistake the absence of pain for the meaning of your life. After relief, ask, what is quietly good right now, without depending on a spike? Sun on the wall, warm tea, a conversation. These are not consolation prizes. They are a different currency. Some people interpret Schopenhauer darkly. If desire causes suffering, then all is suffering. Yes, he spoke with a stark voice. But listen more closely, and a gentler note appears. He is not calling you to despair. He is calling you to clarity. When you stop demanding that desire give you permanent satisfaction, you free desire to do what it can, to move you toward action when action matters, without letting it ride you like a master. Imagine standing on a shoreline. Waves of wanting roll in. Before, you tried to slap them flat or surf them forever. Now you step back half a pace. You let them break. Some you wade into, some you let pass. The salt is still on your skin, the weather still changes, but you are no longer upside down in the churn. You have ground under your feet. And if the will is universal, the simplest correction is compassion, because every person you meet is also pulled by that current. The barista who seems distracted, the partner who feels restless, the colleague who claims credit. Seeing the shared predicament we all experience has profound effects. Accusation becomes understanding. Understanding leads to better choices. Hatred softens. Compassion grows. Letting go of desire enables freedom. What about ambition, love, creating things? Schopenhauer does not ask you to become inert. He invites you to invert the order. Don't chase to become whole. Act from a wholeness you practice. Create, not to receive for adoration, but because making itself puts you in flow. Love, not as a contract to end loneliness, but as a gift of attention and care. Work, not to chase the next pedestal, but to refine a craft, to be useful, to contribute. These desires hurt less, because they are not aimed at ending all lack. They bring meaning into the hours, while lack ebbs and flows. Before you sleep tonight, try this small ritual. Sit at the edge of your bed. feet on the floor. Inhale and say inwardly, wanting. Exhale and say, watching. Do that 5 times. Then ask yourself, what one desire am I willing to let pass tomorrow without feeding it? Choose something modest. The extra scroll, the second complaint, the instant reply. In its place, choose one act of beauty or kindness. Listen to a song in full. Send a message that says, I'm grateful for you. Take a walk without earbuds, noticing the air on your skin.
Schopenhauer believed we cannot fully escape the will while we live. Maybe he's right, but we can redirect attention. We can prune. We can serve something higher than our momentary itch. And with a little practice, the pendulum still swings, but not as wildly. There is more space between the beats. In that space, you find yourself calmer, clearer, kinder, and, strangely, more alive. Because your aliveness is no longer chained to the next acquisition. Wanting will keep knocking. Let it knock. Smile at it. Invite in only the ones that help you build a life you respect. Walk a little slower past the store window. Let the song finish before you speak. Help someone carry their bag. Write, today it was enough, and mean it. The will may be strong, but so is your capacity to see it, to soften it, and to choose again and again what to do with this brief, luminous attention you've been given.